Okay, so the first trailer for Ghostbusters has come out, and I feel like, given how passionately I feel about this project, I did a video on it once before, feel free to go back and check that out, but I feel kind of obligated that I need to talk about this thing. Now, my initial gut reaction to this thing was not good, but I know that mostly has to do with just my love of the original, and I mean love. The original Ghostbusters is my favorite movie of all time ever. So anything retreading that is going to be starting off in a bad place, and that would have been true if this had been a proper Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast. I still would have had an initial reaction to it, I'm pretty sure. So I watched it a second time, and while the things that I didn't like were still there, I was able to pick out some things like, okay, maybe there's something here. Now, if I were to try and break down, it's about a 50-50 split. For everything that I see that is like, okay, maybe there was something else that made me go, oh God, why? That having been said, I did like sort of the initial mood and tone of the thing. This sort of more lower key, a little slightly spooky. I like seeing the logo sort of spray painted on the wall in the subway. That feels really organic and is a pretty neat way to get the logo in a way that doesn't feel like we just took the old logo and did this, like, because I lived in New York. That's the sort of crap somebody would have spray painted in the subway. Then we get 3 out of 4 of the Ghostbusters confronting what is probably their first ghost in what is very much a mirror of the classic library scene from the beginning of the first Ghostbusters. Now again, how much it is mirroring that old movie annoys me. Because I've really come to the conclusion, like, if you are going to reboot, if it's not a remake, but a reboot, you're throwing out the old continuity, doing your own thing, then do your own thing. So how much it was deliberately echoing that old scene annoyed me. That said, the effects on the ghost, that ghost at least, looked pretty good and I kind of liked it. When it started just vomiting the slime all over, I'm kind of like, okay, I suppose they had to slime somebody. I was kind of like, oh, whatever. But sort of the initial 3 that we see, I kind of like their vibe, and they feel like fairly new characters. They feel pretty original. I can't immediately look at that initial group of the 3, the engineer, the particle physicist, and whatever Melissa McCarthy is. I can't look at them and immediately go, that's the Ray, that's the Egon, that's the Peter. And I like that. But then we get the 4th one added in, and I don't like her. I'm just gonna chalk that up to the performance. I found her immediately grating and she rubbed me the wrong way. And then we saw some more of the ghost effects, and the more I saw of them, the less I liked them because I could spot the CGI much better. And the one shot we saw of Slimer, oh, yeah, I hate that he's in this. Because again, it's a reboot, do your own thing. The other thing I don't like about this trailer is that it tipped its hand on a couple of the things that do seem like new ideas. Like we hear someone say someone created a device that's amplifying supernatural energies. Well, don't tell me that in the trailer, because that's a completely new idea. The idea that these aren't portents to some big mystical, evil god thing like they were in the original, but instead this is kind of almost a man-made problem. That's a new take. It's a new spin. And I know I sound hypocritical because I'm like, give me something new, but then I'm yelling at them for the new things that they are giving me. But I mean, this thing's banking so much on nostalgia. I kind of would have preferred if I'd gone in expecting a reheated plate of nostalgia that I was going to hate and got surprised with new ideas. But that's not going to surprise me now. And then in addition to that is the whole possession thing. Now, possession is not completely new to Ghostbusters, but it's been pretty selective. The Keymaster, the Gatekeeper, Ray in the second one. It's not kind of the more free-for-all, oh, slimed, oh, you're possessed now thing that we seem to be getting from this. And again, that could be an interesting new take, but you've now spoiled one of the few new things that you could have surprised me with in the theater, so thanks. As far as the humor goes, the jokes landed better for me when they didn't linger on them. Like, the best laugh that this thing got from me is when they're all lined up and they're like, let's go. And like, they both try and say it at the same time. They're like, oh, next time, we'll figure this out. That was a good moment because it's good, quick, keep going, which was the kind of humor the original Ghostbusters did. Dialogue tossed off and then the thing keeps moving because it's got places to be. Or another good example for the trailer is when Melissa McCarthy just, her hand, that's hot. But then, you get the impression she's just gonna keep going. We're not gonna linger on that. But then we got, let's linger on the hearse and let's linger on this woman slapping Melissa McCarthy. Heck, let's have her slap her again. It's like these moments that they went out of their way to be like, here's the joke. That they didn't land, they didn't work for me. And I'm gonna say, probably not coincidentally, they mostly involved the character who I like the least. Like I said, there's good, there's bad. I'm not gonna say it was all crap. There's potential here, but like I said, for everything I'm seeing that I'm like, maybe I'm seeing something else that makes me go, God. I like the look of their outfits. I like the look of Ecto-1. I'm kind of neutral, slightly intrigued by the fact that it looks like they're based out of a Chinese restaurant. I like the way the theme song was integrated. I like the sound of it because it's still very much that 80s vibe, but it's, you know, it's just slightly more, it's like it's been tweaked, it's been auto-tuned, which just seems actually very fitting for this movie as a whole. But I'm really gonna try and get myself into a better mental place to when it eventually comes around and I have to sit down and watch this movie. Because like I said, my first impression watching the trailer was all bad. I watched it a second time and I could see some good in it. Now, I'm hoping that doesn't mean I'll have to sit down and watch the movie 2 times. I'm hoping I can just, you know, with this as a kind of a base level, just get myself in a good mental place to be able to take it on its own terms as much as is possible. Because if I end up not liking it, I would like it to be because the movie fails in and of itself, not because it just wasn't my favorite movie ever. Because it's not going to be. It's never going to be. So we'll see what happens. Ghostbusters trailer, have you seen it? What were your thoughts on it? Whatever they were, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Please feel free to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, check out the Council of Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, and until next time, this council is adjourned.